Yalim, I turn it over to you. Thanks for your leadership on this project for everybody's perspective. Yeah, I'm Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber, and Yalim is a recent graduate back in December of the master's program at Thunderbird School of Global Management, the #1 international trade school in the world, where we happen to have our headquarters. Behind me is the forum within the main lobby of Thunderbird, where we do quite a number of events. And our office is down the hall. We're totally and deeply respectful for what Thunderbird stands for and what they've been able to accomplish. I believe it's probably the 77th year, something like that. I know when the building opened, the fresh building, it was the 75th year. So it's probably around number 77. The other day, Yalim and I met with the new dean, Charlotte Giffey Brown, and she's amazing. She was selected by the previous dean, Dr. Sanjeev Kagram, who hand-selected her because of her brilliance and her international capabilities to take the school to the next level. And that's exactly what she's doing. It's very clear. Yalim is a product of that system. She is fortunately now working with Global Chamber, and a couple of her projects include the GC communities and the new GC app that we are meeting on weekly, and it looks like that'll be available to members in September. But in the meantime, GC Communities is very available to members, and it's really exciting to see what's happening and people connecting and creating new business. So Yalim, I turn it over to you. Thank you for your leadership on these projects, and we look forward to learning more.
Thank you, Doc, for your introduction. Hi, my name is Yalim Gu. I'm the project manager at Global Chamber. For those who are not familiar with me, I've been working as a project manager, leading mainly two projects, which is the GC app project and the GC communities. And here today, I'm going to talk about what are the value of the GC communities, and I would like to answer all those common questions that we got since we have launched this GC communities project as well. So here, let me pull up the presentation real quick. Everyone can see my screen?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, sounds good. So again, thanks everyone who joined this Globinar intro, gaining value from GC communities. We are having this weekly webinar on every Thursday. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts or new opinions, any feedbacks, just please join the weekly Globinar on every Thursday, and please share your thoughts, opinions, and everything. So here, this is how the Global Chamber community looks like. First one is the primary Global Chamber community, which is our main Global Chamber community. So here, if you can see, if you join the Global Chamber community, you'll be automatically be part of our GC announcement group, where we are communicating about events and new opportunities. Usually, if, for instance, this case, if GC communities Globinar is it's gonna happen like in 30 minutes. Alyssa will make announcement in the announcement group chat, and you will see all the announcement, all the events and the new opportunities in this announcement group chat. And the things that you need to be aware is that you can't leave an announcement group unless you leave the community. So if you leave the announcement group chat, you'll be also exist the community. So please make sure you're not leaving the announcement group chat, so you can also remain in the Global Chamber community and the other topical groups that you join. Here, you'll be able to see all the groups, topical groups. So if you join the Global Chamber community to access topical groups, You can engage in discussions and share information on specific topics like market segments or business functions. Now we have about 45 topical groups, including GC funding, GC motivation, GC energy, GC M&A, and etc. And if you are not sure which topical group that you want to join, there's a group called GC members. So if you go there, and then if you're, for instance, oh, I wanna have a conversation. I'm looking for someone who is in XYZ industry, but I don't know exactly which group that I want to join. You can ask there in the GC members, and our HQ members, including Doc, Cesar, and me, can definitely help you with that. And the other one is regional global chamber communities. The value and the purpose of this regional global chamber community is to enhance connectivity and collaboration within specific geographic areas. And these regional communities will allow members to engage more deeply with opportunities and insights specific to their regions of interest. Now we currently have GC Canada, GC Latin America, GC United States, GC Arizona, GC California, GC Texas, GC Africa, GC Europe, GC Spain, GC Middle East, GC Asia and Australia, GC South Korea, GC Japan, GC China, GC Singapore, GC India, GC Bangladesh, GC Philippines, and etc. And if there's any regional communities that you would like to have, please reach out to me, Doc, and Cesar. We can definitely talk about it as well. So this is how regional global chamber communities look like. It's basically same as the primary global chamber communities. So if you join the groups and the communities, you'll be also automatically be part of our GC announcement group, where we're communicating about events and new opportunities. For instance, if you're in GC Arizona community, and then if GC Phoenix Advisory Board meeting will be held in 30 minutes, you'll be automatically be part of the announcement group chat, and then you will get the announcement about that event. And here is the difference between the topical groups, the primary GC community topical groups, and the sub-regional groups of the regional communities. So within each regional community, there are various subgroups that you can choose to join. So for instance, under the GC California, you might find groups like GC San Francisco, GC LA, and GC San Diego. So please select the subgroups that are most relevant to you. So this is about the general question about the WhatsApp, how you can start and set up the WhatsApp. But if you are not familiar with WhatsApp, I can help you with that. We are also doing one-on-one Zoom call meeting for those who are not familiar with WhatsApp and who are struggling with utilizing GC communities. So please feel free to reach out to me, Doc, and Cesar. And after this meeting, I'm going to share the link with you. So if you're not familiar with WhatsApp, please watch this YouTube tutorial first. The second topic that I'd like to talk about is how to protect yourself from suspicious messages and scams. The first thing that you need to do is pause and think. Look out for suspicious behavior. For instance, are they using an unknown number? Are they rushing you? Are they being threatening or asking you to trust them? Are they asking you to transfer money or share a password, PIN, or personal information? The second thing you need to do is stop the conversation. Instead of continuing the conversation to see where it goes, please hang up a call or stop replying to the user immediately. And if you cannot verify the contact's identity, please do not share any personal or financial information. The third thing is not just stopping the conversation, you should block and report them. So please block the user to stop them from contacting you and report them to the WhatsApp. And if you want to know exactly how you can block and report, I'm going to share this material with the link later on. So if you want to see exactly how, please see the link here, this article. And last but not least, please update your privacy and security settings. Please adjust your privacy settings to control who you can see your personal information and content you. So please, not only blocking and reporting the suspicious people and the suspicious contacts, please adjust your privacy settings. You can also enable two-step verification to better your secure account. And if it's specifically about GC communities, and if you think it's relevant to the GC communities, please reach out to me, Dog, and Cesar. So we're also aware of your situation as well. The next thing is, what are the ideal criteria for adding other non-members? So we initially provided the link and the QR code through the newsletter and email to members only, so we can ensure the community remains private. So please do not share on social media, including LinkedIn. Even if you're facilitators, you might be able to have a link to share, to share the link with other people, but please do not share that link on social media, including LinkedIn. So again, the community is for GC members and is not intended to be public. So if there are any non-members who would like to join the communities, please reach out to Dog and Cesar via email or WhatsApp. The next thing is about members' introduction and identification. So when introducing new participants, please include their names and introduction. So if you can see here from the screenshot, while their members may appear on your phone, others will only see the numbers like this unless their names are explicitly mentioned. So you can say, you can mention their name and their number repeatedly, so people who don't have their contact can also see their name as well. And additionally, we encourage you to save the contacts of fellow members for more efficient communication. The next thing is profile setup reminder. So in order to enhance networking and foster connections within our community, we encourage everyone to set up their profile picture and display name. And this will help new members to easily identify and learn more about you and facilitating more meaningful interactions. I'm going to talk about the GC communities guideline later on, but just briefly explaining about the profile setup. Please set up your profile name as a legal name or any business name, so people are aware of who you are instead of using nickname or any for instance YK, that kind of name, which might be hard for other people to recognize you. So please set up your profile picture and display name appropriately. The next thing is about GC app integration. I'm also leading the GC app project along with this GC communities project. And there were a few members who are interested in and who are curious about how GC app project will be integrated with the GC communities. And this is the basic, not the basic, this is the main features of the GC app and how it can be integrated with the GC communities. The first one is the find and connect. So you can easily find other members filtered by chapters, industries, and networking interest on the app. And this integration will enable deeper connections and conversations with the GC communities. And the second thing is event participation. You can easily enroll in and attend Global Chamber events directly through the app here through the event tab. And even after the event, you can easily see which members attended and connect with them on WhatsApp and GC communities without the hassle of manual searches. So for instance, if there was any, I will say semiconductor event in South Korea, GC semiconductor event in South Korea, and if you want to know who attended that meeting to networking with them or to connect with them after the event, you don't need to go to the LinkedIn and manually search those names. You can just easily find all those names and all those attendees on the app, so you can easily connect with them after the event. And the next thing is map feature. You can utilize the map feature to see where members are located. And whether you're traveling or looking to connect locally, this tool helps you to identify and reach out to the members in specific areas. So such as finding and contacting members in Paris during your visit. So for instance, let's say if you're in Paris during the Paris Olympic season, you can easily see all the GC members in the map. So you can easily find and contact members who are in Paris during you while you're in Paris as well. The next thing is joining groups and community access mobile app and desktop. So currently the GC communities offers many groups you can join. But please note that unlike the mobile WhatsApp app, you cannot see groups you have not joined on the desktop version. So WhatsApp is providing two versions, which is the mobile app version on your phone and the desktop version. But you have to please make sure you are joining the groups on the mobile app first, so you can see all those groups that you have joined on your desktop. So again, to access and view all the community groups on the desktop, make sure to join them first via the mobile app. So here is the Global Chamber community guidelines to keep our community healthy and add more value to our community. So first thing is value-driven discussions. It might be very overlap with what I've just discussed, what I've just talked about, but this guideline is very important and I want you to be aware of the guidelines while using the GC communities. So make sure you're familiar with these guidelines. The first thing is value-driven discussions. Please share valuable information and new opportunities for Global Chamber members. And if a conversation turns into a one-on-one exchange, please move it to a private chat to keep the group focused and relevant. Second is introduce yourself. If you're new, please introduce yourself and share your LinkedIn profile so you can easily connect with them on your LinkedIn as well. And it's also recommended to save fellow members' contacts for smoother communication in the future. The next thing is set up your profile. So please set up your profile picture and display name to help others easily identify and connect with you. Please use your full name or a name appropriate for a business setting, and please avoid nicknames or informal names as well. And if there are a few facilitators of each group assigned, and they also want to know who are in the group chat they're facilitating, so it will be much more helpful for them if you can set up your profile with your full name or a name appropriate for a business setting. And the next thing is stay on topic. Please share only content that is relevant to the group's purpose. Facilitators will remind members to stay on topics, and repeated off-topic or spam posts will be subject to removal. So please stay on topic in the groups that you are joining. And the next thing is engage positively. Please support valuable contributions by liking, commenting, and engaging with the content shared. And the next thing is invite members only. Invite only Global Chamber members, and for non-members interested in joining, contact Doc or Cesar via email or WhatsApp. The next thing is stay secure. If you encounter suspicious messages or scams, please block the user, report them to the WhatsApp, and update your privacy settings. And please notify me, Doc, and Cesar if it's relevant to the GC community specifically. And last but not least, if you have any feedbacks or if you need any help, please reach out along the way to Doc, Cesar, and me and Alyssa for ideas, help, or anything you need or WhatsApp. Not just the questions or not just the help. If you have any feedbacks or if you have any ideas about how to improve GC communities environment, we are more than happy to listen to what that is, and we are also open to adjust based on your feedback as well. And this is a group description part. So we currently have almost 42, it says 42 groups here, but I think it's 43 groups right now. And for each group that you're joining, you will be able to see all the group description for each group. And this is how it looks like. And this is how you can see the group description. So if you're joining the group and if you're clicking the group name, and if you see the group information, you can see the group description underneath the group name. And you can also see the name of facilitators of each group, and you can reach out to the facilitator if you have any feedbacks or if you have any questions about this, about the groups you're in. So yeah, these are what I've prepared for this meeting and for this Globinar. But if you have any more questions, please raise your hand and feel free to ask me questions.
I just want to make, this is Ellen Meinhardt from Virginia's Economic Development Partnership. So there is no way to there's no member, sort of members where you can see the members anywhere and their contact information. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you meant the contact information of the member?
Of any of our, just whoever's a member of the Global Chamber. There's not, like, if a lot of other organizations I'm a member of, you can log in and you can see members, all the members. There still is not that for the Global Chamber. Am I right? I just want to make sure I'm right about that still.
I'll take that, Yellen. There is a directory, Ellen. So it's not part of the GC communities, but there is a directory.
So Doug, is that Doug, I assume?
It is, yeah. How are you?
Well, Doug, thank you. Where does one find this directory? Just so I can know where that is.
We'll send a link over to it so that you can log in and get in. It's not all the members. Not all the members have filled out. I presume VEDP is in there. But I'm not sure. But when people join, they're asked to fill in the directory, and so that information is there.
Okay.
We'll send you a link to be able to get in.
Cesar just sent it to me, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, so I just wanted to know if somebody could, so how would I find, like, if I didn't have this link, how do I find it on the website? I guess that's the one. I'm looking at the website right now, and
It's under business resources.
Members portal, is that right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay,
And then
perfect. Got it.
and
Thank
you get in there. Just to be clear for everyone's sake, is the GC communities is members only. That's the intent. That's our focus. So the people that you interact with within GC communities should be members. It's rare that they would not be a member. We're monitoring. It doesn't mean that tomorrow somebody accidentally sends a link and a non-member gets in. We're monitoring all of these, and we're just kind of making sure that that's working out. I will also say that we've been working with these communities for months, in some cases years, but at least, let's say, at least 6 months in some of the chapters having their own WhatsApp community. And there are examples where we have non-members. Those have been largely segregated away from our members, and we're migrating those to be able to, in some cases, like an example would be Benin, Togo, and Cote d'Ivoire as well. Those 3 countries are involved with communities that are quite a mix, mostly non-members. You can't get to those through Global Chamber, but we have created ones that have members of those on our side, and we're migrating them over. Same with Iberia, which is Portugal and part of Spain. There is another group that you can't join through us that has members and non-members, and we're almost through with cleaning all of that up, and we're going to migrate that into a Portugal, Spain GC community, and that'll be available soon. But generally, when you jump into any of these, they're all members. So I just wanted to make sure that that vetting part has been done, and we're monitoring. The other aspect that Yellen mentioned that I think is really important is that we believe in LinkedIn. We trust LinkedIn, and every member that comes into Global Chamber, we reach out to them in LinkedIn to be connected to them so that we can see their profile. Many times prior to them becoming a member, they'll reach out, and if they don't have a LinkedIn profile, we encourage them not to be a member of Global Chamber until they have one. And part of that is the trust process. If you can't put together a LinkedIn profile with your college background and with the company that you're with, that raises a red flag for us in terms of, is this someone we can really trust? And so we exclude people who don't have a LinkedIn profile. So just to be clear on that part, and conversely, to use that as an advantage when you're posting, especially your first time or any time. I end up doing it many times when I post. I'm not sure if people will necessarily notice that it's me, because if I'm not in their directory, it'll just show up as a number. So many times I have my LinkedIn profile there. I mention my name, like, hi, this is Doug. And I put my LinkedIn profile and then I'll make a comment. So it's a little bit of an additional step, but it has two big pluses. Number one is it creates the additional trust that people know who you are. And then secondly, people know that you're a member. They can reach out and connect to you on LinkedIn. And if your goal is to be connected to knowledgeable, professional, trusted people, that's what we want, right? We want that community in LinkedIn as well. So that's something to consider. So sorry to interrupt, YLM, but I just wanted to kind of clarify those points or emphasize those key points that you made.
Sorry, Doug, I stepped in later. Is the Global Chamber then, do you have groups within LinkedIn then too, or not? I didn't, sorry, didn't get in until about 8 or 10 minutes later.
Oh, okay. No worries. We do have a group in LinkedIn that I think you're probably part of.
Okay,
That it's just one group. We don't have it by. We do have companies. We have Global Chamber, and then we have. I don't know how many dozen. I don't think it's up to 100 yet. I know we have a couple hundred Facebook pages for the different chapters, but in LinkedIn, it's probably less than 100, like Global Chamber Tokyo and Global Chamber, Taipei, and Global Chamber, Baltimore, Washington, et cetera. So those are company pages, but there is one group where we
I'm a member of the Global Chamber. I'm just looking at it. I see it now. Yep. Wonderful. Okay.
So what we do there, and it's not really built to have conversations, but it does allow us, when members post things or like awards or events that are coming up or notable things that we think the Global Chamber community would like to know about, we do post it there, and we encourage members to post things there. So that also kind of brings up the issue of the posting information about yourself or your company and just kind of throwing it out there, rather than the educational aspect of sharing people. And sometimes that can be subtle in terms of how that's done. And if somebody feels like they're spamming, as YLM talked a little bit about, one of the first people who posted in our communities he's a member, and he spammed like a whole bunch of stuff, like his own background and his brother-in-law, who was not even a member. It's like, dude, seriously. So we had a conversation with him, and he hasn't done that, since then. One of the cool things about the Global Tribe is, we all make mistakes. But the Global Tribe, when we make a mistake and we just be transparent about it, or, maybe mistake is too strong of a word, something that could be perceived incorrectly, we'll mention it. And everybody just says, oh, okay, I didn't know, that's a great idea. And then we just move on. And so that's one of the energizing, very positive things about Global Chamber is, the members are amazing. And so we monitor, we have the guidelines that YLM talked about, and everything so far, I think, is working out kind of way better than I thought it would be, because it has the potential for weird stuff to happen, but we really haven't seen very much of that. Part of YLM's warning is more around sort of like when we're emailing, right? Email, there's all sorts of weird stuff in spam. When I go into my spam filter and look at what's there's some really weird stuff, and it's sad that it's the case. Same thing with WhatsApp and Telegram. Telegram is supposed to be safe, but I get the weirdest stuff in Telegram. I don't know what that's all about. It's just, this is the way we have to live, right? And I think all of us have adjusted accordingly, and we're just trying to err on the side of being careful in terms of the warning, so that you know what to do if something weird does happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Doug,
also one,
oh, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, if you find the way somebody's put that they're a Global Chamber member into their LinkedIn, let me know. Because it's they don't really have, I was just looking. They don't really have memberships per se, I guess. It would just be
Okay.
nice to be able to if you see anybody the way they've, other than the people who are the leaders of the group, I get that, but just members, yeah. I don't know. if there's-
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say some people have proactively done that, and especially if they're on an advisory board, and put that as kind of their link. But we don't have kind of a standard way that we either recommend or suggest it. We do have a logo that says, we're a member of Global Chamber, and so if anybody would like that, we can provide that. It's the logo and saying, we're a member, kind of a thing. So we can send you some examples of that. We'd love to have that publicized for sure. So thank you for suggesting.
And also one thing to add is instead of joining all the groups, all the topical, like all the 45 groups, I would suggest to join the groups that are relevant to you and the groups that you're interested in, because there will be a lot of repeated posts. And then what we're trying to do from our headquarter perspective is we are trying to give a range of the options of the groups that members might be interested in. But you as a global chamber, I will suggest to join the groups that you're only interested in. So you can focus on the groups that you're actually interested in. Because there are a few members who said, I'm getting a repeated message from all different groups. But I would say if you want to avoid that kind of situation, I would definitely recommend you to join the groups that you're interested in and that you want to add value, and you also want to get value from the topics as well.
A general rule of thumb is if you do have a topic, don't post it in more than 2 groups. So we have had that where somebody posts, like 6 different groups, and some of us are in multiple groups, and to see it multiple times feels a little spammy. And so really think about who really needs to see this. There is a members group. We haven't really built that out as much as the others. We're just trying to kind of get a feel for what would be the things we'd want to have all members know. There's only a few hundred members in there so far, so we're not anywhere near, it's a small amount of members that are in there yet. So we're still kind of learning how to do that. In AI, or the topic of motivation, which is, I think, one of my favorite examples of what GC Communities is all about. For all of us, doing global business, sometimes we just want to be connected to somebody else doing global business, maybe for an idea or a suggestion or for me at least, a kick in the butt or at least some support. And the motivation group is awesome because it's led by Michael Quigley, and there's nobody better in terms of, from his book Loving Leadership and the way he thinks about the world. He's just so supportive. And so if you ever have either an issue or a problem in your life, in your business, or just need kind of a pat on the back, that the GC community called Motivation, GC Motivation, is awesome. So, and if you have other ideas about groups, let us know. For some reason, we didn't have a leadership group like GC Leadership. And it's like, wait a minute, how could we go for like a couple months and not have one? That's one of the key topics. The Women in Global Leadership is also one that we've already had, and we had that one. But the general topic of leadership, we just added. And there's only a few people in there, but that's one I think that's important to almost all of us. And so as you look through that list in the topical area, and as you think about the regions that are of highest interest to you, think about which communities you want to join. And I also want to apologize to Courtney Finger, because she's a great example of a facilitator and like a global expert on foreign direct investment. So Ellen, I presume you guys are already connected. Ellen with VEDP is an expert on foreign direct investment, particularly in Virginia. And by the way, I had a conversation last night with Taiwan, and so I have somebody for you and they're ready to help with your delegation there. But Courtney is an expert on foreign direct investment. There's nobody better. And she and I are supposed to meet on a different topic, so you might be here for that. Sorry about that. You jumped into, I guess we're
No
using my
worries.
Zoom link for here.
I was a little confused when I dialed in. I get to join.
I
But you
invited
got
you
it
on a
here.
one-on-one and I invited a few friends. How about
The
that?
more the merrier.
Yeah,
But
but glad
if
you're here because she's also facilitator of the FDI, GC FDI. And thank you for your leadership, Courtney.
No worries. Thank you.
yeah, this is does anybody else have any questions or thoughts or comments? And you can always reach out, but anything else? Yelim, any closing comments that you would like to make?
No, I just want to say thank you everyone for attending this Globinar. Like we have another we have weekly Globinar every Thursday. And then if you have any ideas that you would like to share with other Global Chamber members, please join this global weekly Globinar meeting every Thursday. And if you have any questions or feedbacks, you can definitely reach out to me privately as well. We can also set up the Zoom call if you need it, if it's needed. And yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
One of the examples of how this works is in 20 minutes, we have a global chamber Globinar on artificial intelligence, and we have a group on AI as well. And so what that group I think is starting today is they've already talked a little bit about the Globinar that's coming up today. There may be some conversation during the event, within the GC community, within the GC group on AI. And then afterwards, they have the opportunity to decompress on it and talk about it, and then start talking about next month's conversation, along with other things. And so one of the things that some of you have heard me say is that, even though we did 600 and something events last year, we're not an events organization. We're a strategic connecting organization. And so doing a one-off event, even if it's once a month, to me feels like it's just one and done, when really what we want to do is have ongoing conversations and ongoing progress with all of our businesses and on all of these topics. And so hopefully GC Communities is another way we can do that on topics of interest to you, whether it's exporting or any of the other topics, that it allows you to build your expertise, to connect strategically to some key people around the world that are of interest to you. So please let us know your feedback. And if you can join the AI conversation in 20 minutes, great. And otherwise, Courtney and I are going to chat about FDI here in a minute.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Maybe we better close the room, and then Courtney, how about you and I rejoin?
Yeah, that's like a plan.
Thanks,
See you next.
Todd. Thanks,
Thanks,
Yellen.
Yellen. Thanks, everybody. Elisa, are you there? Elisa? Elisa, are you there?
Hi, Doug. I'm back.
Just like this one, very close. These must be very tall. Oh, there you are. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Sorry about that.
No problem. I thought at first I joined the wrong thing, but no worries.
I think what might have happened is somebody put my Zoom link, which is a global chamber link, into that GC communities, and so normally it's on a different Zoom account. So then that's what I assumed was going to happen. I was just going to jump off and join you, but it didn't work out that way. So
No problem. How are you doing?
doing really well. What have you been up to recently? What's exciting?
Oh, all sorts. It's super busy these days, and I thought the summer would be slow, and it's not. But I guess in self-employment, busy's better than the alternative. So I kind of have a mix of things. I have, some ongoing media work with Forbes, with us Real Asset Media. I have a retainer contract with WIPA, which is the global body for FDI.
Yeah.
I'm doing loads of event work, including for my ex-employer, Financial Times, running content for loads of their events. I've got consulting contracts right now with Pakistan, with Riga, probably soon Armenia. So those, and then a few other things that pop up here and there, but that's my kind of juggling act at the moment.
Okay. Are there areas of like introductions that would be helpful for you, or particular targets that you haven't even been getting on their radar screen, or other things like that?
Well, it's a good question, and thank you for that. The main thing for me is that my typical type of client would be like government entities that are trying to attract FDI, or where I have very little capacity now. Where I do have capacity because these gigs offer more bang for buck is moderating events. So where there are, whether they are government entities, associations, companies that need a facilitator, I'm always keen for those, or a keynote speaker on the topic of FDI.
Okay.
Other thing is I am doing some deal origination. So where there are projects, so they could be renewable energy projects, other kind of projects that need development finance, I'm sort of deal or project or opportunity spotting for various finance houses. That may come up here and there, I think, in relation to some of the global chambers, members or partners. So those are the main things I'm looking for right now. Otherwise, I kind of don't have capacity to take on much more work. I don't need more clients because I wouldn't know what to do with them. If I got them until next year, then things might open up a bit more.
Okay. So like the moderation part would be more pipeline filling, to
Yeah,
make
and the reason the moderating is good is that usually opens up good networking and visibility opportunities in itself. But in terms of bang for buck, because if I'm moderating something, it's a few hours and the preparation, but that tends to pay quite well for what it is. Whereas taking on a whole new project or bit of content work, I haven't actually got any capacity to do. That's why I say the moderating,
Got it.
or,
Got it.
and
What,
again, or matchmaking projects that are seeking financing. That's another thing, because that's a more of a, I guess, deal facilitation quite role. Whereas projects that require heavy lifting, I can no longer take on because I've kind of got enough of that, if that makes sense.
okay. So tell me more about those kinds of projects that are good. Are they typically like FDI projects requiring some sort of an investment? And what would be examples of that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there would be what are considered FDI projects. A typical one would be, someone wants to build a solar wind farm or some kind of renewable energy project in the developing world, or could be Europe, and needs financing. So they need to raise the financing to make that project happen. Could be building a hospital in the developing world. It could be building schools in the developing world, that need a mixture of private sector financing and development bank financing, for example, but need someone to structure it. It could be infrastructure projects on the bigger scale.
Okay.
It could be real estate projects. So the role I'm playing is, again, finding these projects. I have different entities that I have relationships with where I know, okay, this finance house likes renewable energy projects, so they'll take a look at this, or mining project, or whatever it is. This one likes, real estate projects in Europe. This one would deal with a mining project in Africa, whereas this one wouldn't.
I see.
More about these typical FDI projects that require debt or equity financing, or they could be a public-private thing and they need a structure. And I don't do that, but I match those projects with those who do the structuring of the finance for the projects, if that makes sense.
I see. No, that does. Do they typically, there's usually some sort of a finder's fee in that for you?
That's it. Mine's a sort of originator / introducer fee, by bringing both parties to the table. But the fee, I would get paid my fee from the financiers, not the project owners,
I see. I got you.
because I'm being paid to bring the opportunity that may result in a financing deal that they would then take their finance fees from.
Okay. When you think about the world, you mentioned a variety of things, including like, energy projects and things. Where are the highest levels of interest? What types of projects right now, and where in the world are you most comfortable? And are there parts of the world where you're less comfortable in terms of those connectivity? I've always kind of presumed you would be less North America, but more Europe, Africa, and maybe part of Asia. But I don't know.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. I would say EMEA would be my focus.
Okay.
Africa is of huge interest, obviously. Renewable energy in Africa, but also in most of the developing world, is interesting. Renewable energy projects are interesting as well in Europe. So I would say if there's one sub-segment that is of most interest, it would be renewable energy in Africa and other developing countries.
Okay.
That's super hot right now. Infrastructure projects like public-private partnerships in developing and frontier markets is of big interest. But I think sector-wise, it's renewables.
Okay. Got it. No, that makes sense. There's a lot of different, I think, interesting folks that we're working with right now in those areas. One of which is our Global Chamber San Francisco Advisory Board Chair, Vinayak Gupta, and so he and I are working on multiple projects in renewable energy and banking and some other things, and so he might be somebody to at least have on your radar screen.
Oh, absolutely.
He worked for Tesla, and he built one of the giga plants, and he was the project leader, and he's done some really amazing things. So I'd love to get you connected there. He's also aware of some of the other things that we're doing in Kazakhstan and some other regions around the world that could be of interest. So,
Yeah, and actually Central Asia, so those kind of stand markets are of big interest as well.
okay. There was also, as you were going through that, it reminded me, it was also, actually, I knew that the meeting was on my Zoom because what happened was I had a meeting with a fellow from Stockholm and we're putting together a collaboration. His whole thing, and I should send you his link and maybe you know him. His name is Sven, and I don't remember what his last name is, but his business model is he works with communities around the topic of innovation. He finds a partner, a couple partners in each city, and they put together a book on innovation with like 100 case studies, and they sell the book. But they do an event and they kind of put it all around there, and they just go from one city to another. So we've been talking for 6 months, and finally we now have a plan where Global Chamber is going to be supportive, and we've got cities picked out, or we're picking, kind of finalizing the next 3, where we'll be talking about, as an example, Singapore. So have a person in Singapore talking about innovation. We'll have a book on it, but it's largely around foreign direct investment at the end of the day. He's what made me think of him was, first of all, the FDI component, but then secondly, in the Europe side of it, he's spending the next 2 months, and he's already a month into it, just driving country to country. So this morning he was he in Estonia, or but he's going, finding the people for like the next generation pipeline. But you would probably be a great, partner in that initiative, like as occasionally when they can afford it, to have you be kind of the moderator, and then your network could be pulled in, like if Estonia or somebody's going to be doing it, you can, by just you being involved, just like what we intend to be, is just pull more people into it and make it more valuable.
Yeah, I would love that.
Cool. Okay. We're finalizing that, and I'll get you connected to him because I think you guys should be able to hit it off as well. He's a cool guy. So, and I think enough to get us going and working. I know you mentioned WIPA, and I don't understand that group yet well enough, but you had introduced me, or through our interaction, you had introduced me to some fellow like in Malaysia or KL or something like that. In that,
well, I think I need to, there's worth thinking about what tie-ups there could be. So essentially WIPA is the global association for all those government investment promotion agencies. So
okay.
They're all government entities that are representing either a city, a region, or a country. So that would be like Invest KL, Malaysia Investment Development Agency, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission. So there's 140 members from 100 countries, but they're government agencies. It's rather different from the Global Chamber. It's a great group for me to be in because those agencies are my typical type clients and partners. These are the government FDI agencies.
Are you a member of that, or what is your?
I'm a professional advisor for them. So I'm their senior advisor. I'm on a retainer with them. So I'm not a member of the secretariat, but I am part of the team because I advise them on communications. I moderate their events. I help with some member development, some trainings that they do. Now they do partner with other organizations. They've always in the past been focused on, big companies, because those are like the typical type of companies that FDI agencies are trying to woo. But I'll look for some opportunities because if FDI promotion is kind of evolving, and these agencies, investment promotion agencies, are taking more interest in SMEs, and they're kind of broadening a bit their focus. So there could be some opportunities where they have sessions, so maybe look for, join a webinar, speaking slot, but that's basically who they are and what they do. And it's a nonprofit. The members pay a membership fee, but it's a nonprofit based in Geneva, and it's focused around supporting these agencies through training, capacity building, and so on.
Okay. What for that group of people, those companies, those organizations around the world, we want to be connected to them, and we're already connected to probably most or them. Historically, we've looked at it in terms of let's bring them on as a member and then let's do something. But more recently, we've kind of evolved that because it's so difficult because they have turnover and they don't have budgets, but now they have a budget and all of that. So I think we're to the point where, like, let's say, I don't know if it would be in WIPA's interest, hopefully it would be, where if we did have some sort of a collaboration where we would bring all of those on as members. We don't mind that, but if any of them wanted to do something with us and do an event, then we just work out it case by case. But it would be in our best interest just to have them, because we just want a clear channel. When a member of ours wants to go to Malaysia, it turns out both MITA and Matrade are members of Global Chamber, but we don't want that to be a barrier. We don't want to make selections of where do you want to go based on having a member of Global Chamber. We want to make it just like whatever's best. That's all. And so if you think there might be a way of just doing some sort of a collaboration where we can drive more, hopefully, to WIPA, and then us to somehow be better connected to those companies in a non-revenue way. It doesn't need to be that way. It's just mainly just to help companies be connected in better ways. If there's a solution there, we'd love to find it.
Yeah, let me discuss that with them. And I think there is a synergy in that, companies looking to expand internationally, and these are the agencies whose remit is to facilitate companies coming into their jurisdiction. So let me discuss it with the WIPA. They're a little bit sidetracked right now because, and it's worth, if you have, is there a GC chapter in Saudi?
There is, yeah, in Riyadh.
Because the WIPA's big annual conference will be in Riyadh in November.
Okay.
So it would be good if you can, it would be good to get whoever the GC kind of people in Saudi are, to get them to come along to the conference, because that'd be a good way to build a bit of a bridge as well. And I think it's an interesting conference anyway, because it brings like government officials and finance people and investors from all around the world. So it's quite a good one.
Can anybody just go? Like, can we just register, or how does it?
Yeah, you just have to register. Registration has to get approved, but it's not that onerous. So I can share a link, registration link with you. And I'll be there for sure, because I always moderate there. And so if there is someone you want to recommend who attends, connect me with them and I'll make sure they get registered and I can meet them also there.
Got it. Very good. Thanks for your time today. It's great to connect and reconnect and to learn more.
Oh yeah, well we'll keep in touch obviously, and follow. I'll help always where I can.
Awesome. Congratulations on the success that you're having.
Thanks so much, Doug. Have a good day.
You too. Cheers.
Bye.